This is the third time I've tried to film this video, so it better work this time or else I'm gonna cry. Hey, I'm DaniSurname, and a couple of days ago I went to see Mockingjay Part 1 at midnight in London in one of those big, fancy, massive cinemas, and it was amazing! I don't know what that was, but it was great and I really enjoyed it. And before I start the review, cinemas in London are freaking huge! They're amazing. Like, the screen is unnecessarily big, but I was enjoying that unnecessarily big screen. Right, as this is the third time I've tried to film this video, I'm going to do it speedily, and I have a list on the back of an envelope. The first thing on my list is quite superficial, but the way that the film looks is amazing. It's absolutely gorgeous. The colour choices, the shapes, the way that, just the decisions that they've made have clearly been deliberately done to symbolise and to represent extra things. Like the way that Peter was dressed in white when he was being forced to talk for President Snow, and the grey underground of District 13, and then the lush greenness above ground, the dark blues of District 4. I just found it so aesthetically pleasing. And I did wonder afterwards when I was talking about how nice the film was to look at. Well, not nice, but how much of an impact the look of the film had. I did wonder am I noticing this because I know more about photography now? Or am I noticing it just because it's awesome? So I think I should go back and watch The Hunger Games and Catching Fire to see if they were aesthetically driven as well, or whether Mockingjay is just... they put in the extra effort. In terms of the acting, there wasn't anyone who really stood out for me. There was no one who was terrible, and there was no one that was amazing. The acting was just good. It was alright. Jennifer Lawrence was good. I don't have anything bad to say, and I don't have anything amazing to say. Although there was one moment when she's hugging Haymitch. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! There's going to be spoilers all the way through this, by the way. When she's hugging Haymitch and she's worried that she's going to lose Gale and Peter, that bit I really felt was real and it was unattractive, and you really felt it. That was the moment that I thought, well done, Jennifer Lawrence, that's a good moment. But the rest of it was kind of not average, but just good. Philip Seymour Hoffman as Plutarch I thought was really good. I loved his character, which just makes me an extra bit sad. And I feel like I should go watch a lot more of his work because I'm clearly missing out. He's awesome. And I did wonder halfway through the film, are they going to do a little bit of a memorial at the end? And they did, and I was surprised. I didn't think they would, but they did. They did something really simple and nice, and I liked that. The second really big thing for me about Mockingjay was the tone of the film. They kept it a film about war and about revolution, and I really liked that. I was really glad that they kept true to the tone of the book. With the first book, The Hunger Games, it's really clear that Katniss is doing what she's doing to Peter because it's the only way that she'll survive, and she feels bad for it, but ultimately not really that bad for it because she's surviving. Whereas when they turned that into a film, they made it seem like she really loved him, and they then made that film into something about love, which I didn't like. The film was still great, but the tone was different. Whereas with Mockingjay Part 1, it really felt like they were true to the tone of the book. It was a book about war and revolution, and that's what the film was too. I don't have a 6 on this list. Oh no, I do! Speaking of the book, I really wish that I'd reread it before I went to go and see the film so that I had more of an understanding of what changed and what didn't, but I didn't. Although I did speak to a friend who reread the book, and she said that it was pretty much spot on to what happened, which was great. There were only 2 things that were different. Effie comes in much later, and you see less of the districts. With the first thing, I was kind of glad that Effie was in it more, because Katniss is so alone. She has so few options of people she can trust. In fact, she can't really trust anybody. But then Effie and Haymitch, they don't necessarily remind her of home, but I think they're a reminder of when life was slightly easier than this. They're friends that she has, and Katniss doesn't have a lot of friends left. So I liked that Effie was there, and she had that support. Plus, Effie as a character is just brilliant. I love it a bit. The second thing, seeing more of the districts, I thought that was awesome. especially the bit with the song, with the hanging tree song, which I can't get out of my head. I googled the words and I'm literally singing it all the time now. But with that bit, having Katniss sing it and then it gradually build up until all of District 4 is singing it, and we see how her innocent actions are then used for propaganda to inspire this revolution. And I thought that was really great, that you saw how the propaganda worked, that you saw how the revolution was through the very simple things that she did. Although I think in the book it feels more like she's used than in the film. In the film, Katniss seemed more aware of the fact that she was being used for her face and for her almost innocence. I felt like seeing the district and having more of an overworld view of Panem really worked with it being a film. It fitted the conventions a lot more, because I don't think that Susan Collins should have written the book with us being able to see more of the districts, because it's a book from Katniss's point of view. But with it being a film, I felt like that really worked. The final thing on my list is the ending. With Catching Fire, I was very opposed to how they ended it. It was supposed to be, Katniss, there is no District 12, bam, blackout, done, leave the cinema. But no, they had a view of her face, and I felt like that spoiled it. I was very opinionated about it when I left the cinema. But with Mockingjay Part 1, I liked the ending. I feel like there were stronger choices they could have made, but there are also worse choices that they could have made, and they made one that was good. So out of 10, I give the ending a 7. And out of 10 for the whole film, I give it an 8.5. It's a very strong film. I felt like it was a very good representation of the book, while still making changes that made it better for screen. Good film, really pleased with it. So stoked for Part 2, I can't wait. Put my list down. Give me an ego boost, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon.